Thinking about changing locations and shit. Man, into this motherfucking bag. Stand up the way I made. Sacrificing time for this shit. Man, I got a plan. Tried to tell niggas years ago. They ain't understand. Riding by myself and it's cool. I'm all in my head. Everything in life you can't replace. I build relationships. Pretty little smile make a nigga wanna lock it in. We met the same time I lost a friend. We should try again. You been on my mind. You should hop in. I ain't gon' hurt you, baby girl. You know we locked in. Used to be on FaceTime calls on the regular. Never made time, landed on my busy schedule. Now every time I hit the bay, you know I think of you. Working on your brand, love, you know that I.
And we are live in the building. What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy, Henny the Moore, reporting live from the liquor store. How's everybody doing today? How I'm sounding, how I'm looking, how the visuals. Let me know, man. Give me a feedback. If the microphone sounds good, put a 1 in the chat box. If we need to make some adjustments, man, put a 2. If everything Gucci, though, we gonna rock out, man. But, hey, salute to everybody already in the building with us, man. You know, it's Friday. Y'all just got off of work. It's Labor Day weekend. It's time to unwind, man. Let your hair down and come get drunk in the liquor store, man. Cause we finna get drunk with this Dallas Cowboys content together. And hey, I see you, hallelujah, helping us manifest that 6th championship. I see the trophy and the hundreds. I see my boy Elijah Robinson, Special K, Jay Bryan in the building. Salute to all y'all good people sliding into the liquor store, man. Long time no see. Justin Kitchen. Salute to all y'all good people, man. It's good to see y'all, man. But hey, I'm done, talking about the front office. I'm done talking about contracts. I'm done talking about Dak, CeeDee Lamb, like any other dysfunction and discourse going on with the Dallas Cowboys has to take a back burner because, man, we play a game next weekend. The very first game of the season, Dallas Cowboys versus Cleveland Browns is going to kick off the 2024 season for the Dallas Cowboys, and it will be a doozy, man. So we'll talk about that today. We'll talk about the numbers behind that. We'll talk about the matchups, keys to victory, all those different things, man. So this might take a while. Normally, I do an hour show. This might be an hour and a half. It might, slide a little bit past that. But that's neither here nor there. So all I'm saying is make sure you get you a refreshment. Make sure you get yourself a snack. Hey, I got my coffee ready. It's gonna take a little bit. But we finna rock out, man. But hey, before I get too far ahead of ourselves though, man, just know, you know already what the usual rules of engagement is when y'all tap in with your independent content creators. So hit that like button, man. Hit that share button. Hit that sub button if you ain't enjoyed the liquor store. We on the road to 3,000 subs. Ain't even got a full 300 folks left, man. We got a little bit under 300 subs. We need to get to 3K. So tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a pimp, tell a hoe to come join the liquor store. And hey, we finna go ahead and jump into this though, man. Meek Phillips, Miss Regina Green with the green. Salute to y'all. And hey, if you want to show some love and help keep the lights on, bless your boy for the content. You can hit the Cash App. It's $ Henny the Moore. Or you can hit the Super Chats or the Super Stickers, man. Either one will help, and I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. But let's talk football, man. So the Dallas Cowboys will be facing the Cleveland Browns next Sunday. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. This is not going to be an easy matchup, right? The Browns are a very formidable team. I know you generally do not think of the Cleveland Browns as being a superior foe, but the Browns have pretty much a complete team. Like, if you could say, like, the one weakness that the Cleveland Browns really have, you could say quarterback play because of what Deshaun Watson has not really done these past 2 seasons, right? But outside of that, they got a very stout, physically imposing offensive line. They got a very good defensive front. They may have like it's a toss up. They may have one of the best secondaries in the National Football League. I'm not saying they are flat out the best, but they got one of the better secondaries in the National Football League from their corners to their safeties. So personnel wise, the Browns got a lot of things going for them. Even their wide receiving core, when you just sit back and you look at those pass catchers that they have. We know that Amari Cooper is like that. Amari Cooper has helped the Dallas Cowboys win many a game, some seasons ago. Like Amari Cooper was him when he was in Dallas. And he's still him. He's still producing. He's still putting up yardage. They just went out there. Let's see. Thank goodness a show not talking about. Listen, we got other more important things to talk about, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I want my players to get paid. I want my front office to stop tripping. But we got a game to win, man. We got games to win. So we got to put all that stuff on the back burner and prioritize what we need to be talking about right now. Dak and his agents got Jerry in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll figure that out. But we'll talk about what we need to talk about. Yeah, that's true. Now, listen. The first couple of weeks are always, like we saw the Lions beat the Chiefs last night. Anything can happen week 1. But I do just want to talk about the personnel, the numbers behind what they did, production, and all that other stuff. So let's start really just with the surface level numbers. We'll start with the surface level numbers, and then we'll go to a little bit more of a deep dive, just so we can all get caught up on this. So let me screen share. We're just gonna just see what the NFL says, because these are going to be the official NFL stats that I'm gonna show to y'all right now. All right, so boom. So right now, these are defensive stats. If y'all can see the screen that I'm sharing, these are all defensive stats. All right. If you're wondering, if you want to look on your computer with me, this is NFL.com. These are just official team stats. This is nothing groundbreaking. This is anything that anybody can find with Google. So we're gonna start with the surface level numbers, and then we're gonna ramp it up into more advanced analytics as we go through the show. All right. So right now we're looking at passing defense. Right. This is passing defense. Let's just look at overall yardage surrendered. So when you toggle like this, it goes from the top to the second. All right, go from the top to the bottom. So the teams at the top are the best passing defenses in terms of yardage, and the teams at the bottom are the worst passing defenses in terms of yardage, based on what they did in the 2023 season. Right? The Browns were the second best passing defense in terms of yardage given up last year. Man, y'all make sure y'all go show some love to the Big Time Show over there, man. Always an honor and a pleasure to work with the man. Very good content, very knowledgeable Cowboy content creator, man. So y'all make sure y'all go support Big Time, man. 100. So the Browns only gave up 3,149 yards on the season last year. To put that in perspective, the Dallas Cowboys, and we thought the Dallas Cowboys passing defense was amazing. The Dallas Cowboys gave up 3,481 passing yards, on what appears to be 26 less passing attempts defended. So the Browns defended more passing attempts, and they gave up less yardage. So you could say, theoretically, they were a more efficient passing defense than the Dallas Cowboys was in terms of the cumulative numbers. So this is a very stout passing defense. And listen, in terms of passing touchdowns, 23 passing touchdowns over the course of a 17-game season is not a lot. Because, again, compared to the Dallas Cowboys, we all thought that the Dallas Cowboys had an amazing secondary. We only gave up 21. So the Browns only gave up 2 more touchdowns, and when you look at interceptions forced, they actually had 1 more pick than the Dallas Cowboys did. And when you think about the fact that the Dallas Cowboys had a guy that broke the NFL touchdowns, like that says a lot. Like that says a lot. So yeah, man, the Dallas Cowboys will not be playing no Rudy Poo defense week 1. Dallas Cowboys will not be playing a Rudy Poo defense week 1. Especially in terms of passing defense. Like, this is not a team that I want the Dallas Cowboys to drop back and pass against 40 times. Just look at the surface level numbers. Now, I didn't want the Dallas Cowboys to try and throw the ball against the Browns 40 times anyway, because we got 2 rookie offensive linemen. Like, you got to expect them to take some lumps and bruises at some point. Their first game against a very good defensive line. Like, no matter how good Tyler Guyton is, he is still a rookie, and he will be going up against the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in Myles Garrett. So I didn't really want the Dallas Cowboys to be out here passing against this team any damn way. The issue is they're not really slouches in the run game either. Right? It's not really like they're like the Dallas Cowboys, right? We're a top passing defense, but we were a middling, subpar run defense. So a team really had a path to victory against us last year, because if you don't put the ball in the air and you play smash mouth football and you run to the Dallas Cowboys, you have a very good chance of winning, because we didn't play the run too well by the numbers. The Browns, on the other hand, had a dominant passing defense, and their running defense wasn't half bad either. Like, they were right outside of the top 10, right? So these are rushing defenses in terms of yards surrendered. Bears with the best run defense. The Lions with the second best run defense. 49ers with the third best. If you look down here, the Cleveland Browns were the 11th best run defense in the National Football League. They only allowed 4.3 yards a carry, right? They only allowed 18 yards of, they only allowed 18 runs of 20 plus yards, right? So it's not, they didn't give a lot of explosive plays. They didn't, like, this was a stout run defense. This was a stout run defense, at least in comparison to the Dallas Cowboys. And when the Dallas Cowboys go out here playing running back by committee, right? It's hard to say that the way that we're planning to attack on the ground will be conducive to success against the Cleveland Browns, because it's not like they're slouches there. They are a competent run defense. So if you're trying to keep score, the Browns had the second best passing defense last year and the 11th best rushing defense last year. As a matter of fact, while we're doing the show, because this is pretty much when I go out there and I collect the data so I can have it on hand. You keep it score. Second best passing defense, 11th best rushing defense. I just wanted to jot that down, because we taking notes, man. We taking notes. We trying to figure out the best way to attack the Browns. Now listen, I'm not saying for the Dallas Cowboys to run the ball 50 times and not throw the ball at all. But what I am saying is the Dallas Cowboys probably will have a better path trying to establish the run game and then passing off of that than just going in here with the standard drop back passing game, right? Because I'm showing you the numbers now. I'm finna show you the personnel behind why the numbers are like that, especially when it comes to that passing defense. So bear with me. Let me stop the screen recording so I can just go through some of these Brown personnels for y'all on here. All right, so let's just pull up their depth chart for this year. Now I'm going to share that screen and we'll just go through these guys, man. Desmond Ironman, what's up with you, man? Bet the under. No, the Dallas Cowboys are 2.5 underdogs against the Browns for week 1. So pretty much it's a push, because you get 3 points for being at home. So pretty much they say it's a pick'em game. Like, they say the Dallas Cowboys have just about as good of a chance of winning as losing in this competition. What's up with you, Tavaria? Yeah. So listen, I'm not saying not to pass the ball at all. Because let's keep it real. This is a Mike McCarthy West Coast offense. Like, he's going to pass the ball. But what I am saying is set up the pass to be successful. Like, they're a little bit weaker against the run than they are the pass because they're a very, 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 very stout. They're a very, very, very stout passing defense. But, if you run the ball, you utilize play action, you utilize some some RPO maybe, you might have a better time moving the ball in the passing game than just straight drop back passing. I said I honestly would just pick my spots as I'm the Cowboys offense. I'm not putting Dak out there to get teed off on by Garrett. Yeah, man. And Tariq, you said Henny, you was right about Trey Lance. He has a lot to learn. Listen, man, I don't have an agenda against Trey Lance. Like, if Trey Lance was ready, if Trey Lance was better than Dak Prescott, if Trey Lance could be a starting caliber quarterback right now in the NFL, I would say that. Because I don't know any of these people personally. I just tell y'all what I see from what they do, and I crunch numbers, and I talk about scenarios and just basic things like that. Like, Trey Lance ain't even played enough football for me to be comfortable with him going out there. Like, he's a former third overall pick, but he's a former third overall pick based solely off of potential and nothing much else. He got the size, athleticism, arm talent. Is up here, dog. He hasn't seen enough football or played enough football to be ready yet. It just is what it is right now. Down the line, could he develop? But I digress. But let me screen share so we can take a quick look at this Browns depth chart, because I want y'all to get familiar with these guys. Because we're not talking about the offense yet, so don't even take your eyes up there to the offense. Like, that's a different animal. We'll break down some surface level numbers on the offense, and then we'll talk about the personnel. Let's take a look at that damn defense. Let's take a look at that defense. Because this is a great, man, look at these people. All right. So you got Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Dalvin Tomlinson. Right? They got Dalvin Tomlinson, who I actually wanted at one point in time because we needed defensive tackle help. Shelby Harris, then Zadarius Smith. So that's the front four for the Browns, who still play a 4-3 base defense. What up with your numbhead Neil? He said I slept up 45 Brown fan before checking in, man. Hey, man, you're out there doing the right thing, man. You out here representing. You out here putting on. It's gonna be a tough matchup, though. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, this is gonna be a very tough fight for the Dallas Cowboys. And shout out to my boy Desmond Ironman for being a member for a month, man. He said, "Let's go. Week 1 is ours, man." Salute to y'all. And hey, man, make sure y'all grab a membership. Make sure y'all tap in. We're gonna start putting some more exclusive content out there as we add members. So y'all, hey, I really don't know how I'm gonna do it though. I don't know if I'm gonna just do it exclusively or if I'm gonna drop content and give y'all like early access to it. I'm not sure. Probably do a little bit of both. So make sure y'all grab those memberships. Make sure y'all hit that Cash App. Make sure y'all hit those super chats. Support the liquor store, man. Help keep the doors open. Help keep the lights on, man. Because, hey, y'all my sponsors. I don't have any sponsors. Y'all sponsor the liquor store. So I appreciate y'all in advance. So, but for real, dog, like this some damn good personnel that I'm looking at. If y'all remember Zadarius Smith, he had runs with the Packers. He had runs with the Vikings. He's a good player. He's a good player. Like, they got and listen, both Shelby Harris and Dalvin Tomlinson are defensive tackles that I looked into trying to acquire for the Dallas Cowboys before. Like, I wanted to try and ascertain the services of both of these guys, man. So the defensive tackles aren't slouches. Their defensive ends aren't slouches. They got a very good front four up there. Then you talk about. Then you go out here and you talk about some of these cornerbacks. Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is one of the better corners in the National Football League. That is not that's not hyperbolic to say. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. Like he's hard, man. Like he is a great coverage corner, man. Very physical at the point of attack. Good ball skills. Like he's a complete package as a corner. You don't know him because he plays for the Browns, and y'all don't keep up with the Browns. But Denzel Ward is one of the better defensive backs in the National Football League. Greg Newsome is a very, very good defensive back. Martin Emerson Jr. is a very good defensive back. Right, so it's hard. It's hard for me to say I want to throw against this front. Then when you talk about their safeties, they got Grant Delpit and Juan Thornhill. So like their secondary is amazing. Linebackers are pretty straight too. Jock just got paid. You're wondering who Jock is? It's Jeremiah Owusu Cole. That's why we call him Jock. You know I can't pronounce that shit. But he's a great player. He's a Pro Bowl linebacker. So all I'm saying is like this is a very good defense, top to bottom. Like if you're just looking at the names, like this is a scary defense. Now, no football game is ever won just by on paper. No football game is just won on paper. But dog, like look at all this talent. Look at all this talent. Like this is not me being over dramatic. This is probably going to be one of the better defenses the Dallas Cowboys play all year. I know that's hard to believe because the Dallas Cowboys play the Ravens and they play the Steelers and we play the 49ers. Like this is still going to be one of the better defenses that we play. Because as quiet as kept, for as good as the 49ers are, they beat. Like not only did they beat the shit out of the 49ers, but they also beat the 49ers out in a lot of key defensive defensive categories last year. This dog, like, they're good. Exactly. Thank you, Eternal Dynasty. They're a proven commodity in the National Football League. They shut down teams we couldn't shut down. Like, they made Brock Purdy look like a 7th-round pick. Something that we have been trying to do and have not been able to do. Right? We tried it. We ain't did it. Hey, what's up, Leos? They were tapping in, man. He just slapped the shit out of an Eagles fan, man. Let's get it, man. They were tapping in, my boy. 22 Savage TV said it's a nasty defense, man. They're great. Like, I have nothing bad to say about the Browns defense. And really, when you look at the Browns defense, there's no real clear weakness. That's why if they continue to get, if the Browns continue to get competent quarterback play, which they have not really gotten, right? Because the Deshaun Watson has been really up and down. They're really title contenders. They got the wide receivers. They got tight ends. When healthy, they got running backs. They got offensive linemen. They got defensive linemen. They got secondary. Right? Like the only thing they're missing is consistent quarterback play. Only thing they're missing is consistent quarterback play, man. You said what kind of team are they? Man-to-man coverage, zone. Let's take a look. Because listen, you know good and well, I probably watched 2 Browns games all last year. So I would be lying if I just spouted some random numbers out. You know what I'm saying? But we could pull it up real quick, bro. So let's do that. Let's educate ourselves on what the Browns did last year. All right, so we already talked about the numbers. We done talked about the personnel a little bit. They got good talent. All right, I really ain't got to go in depth. Like y'all seen them names. Y'all know them boys. So let's take a look. Let's go to some advanced analytical stats real quick. And let's see if we can find some answers we're looking for. Let me see if I can find the blitz percentage in this mug, because that's all I really care about. Oh, that's punting. Scoring defense. Conversion. Let me see. Bear with me. I'm trying to find what I'm trying to find, y'all. Oh shit, here it go. Let me close this one down. I found it in a different tab. Yep. They're a great defense, man. So hold on. I found what I was looking for. So let me pull this down and bring this back up. There we go. Okay. So this is blitz percentage by 2023 team advanced defensive stats. So this is blitz percentage. All right, and it's already. So the Minnesota Vikings blitzed the most. The Buccaneers had the second highest blitz rate at 44.7. The New England Patriots had the third highest blitz rate at 42.1. And the Cleveland Browns had the fourth highest blitz percentage in the National Football League at 41. So it looked like they blitzed 41.2% of the time. Now, I'm trying to make sure that's correct, though. Because I see games at one. Look like somebody might have created this. So that's why you got to be careful before you give people numbers and shit. Because down here it said that somebody generated this 9/14/2023 and then they never updated it. So I don't know. I gotta find a better source to see what their blitz percentage was. Yeah, Dak's very good against the blitz. But it doesn't even appear that they may not blitz a lot because this looks like it's inaccurate. So don't listen to that just yet. We're gonna take that with a grain of salt right now because that looked like somebody started to keep track of it and then they just stopped. So let's just start with some advanced analytical numbers we can trust from a 17-game period. All right, so here we go. These are 2023 advanced analytical stats. We're gonna talk about team defense first. So total yardage. All right. And listen, the Browns were the number one defense in the league in terms of total yards in total yardage surrendered. On 1,004 plays, the Cleveland Browns only surrendered 4,593 yards. So they were the number one team in terms of yardage. Right? That's passing and rushing combined. Right? Matter of fact, they only allowed 2,800 yards through the air last year. Only allowed 1,793 yards on the ground last year. So, like, this defense didn't play no games. penalties. Hold on now. I think I saw something. The Browns did commit a lot of penalties, though. That might be something to keep us in the game. Like, that might be something to keep you in the game, because it appears here that the Browns had the most penalties in the National Football League. It looks like the Browns committed 118 penalties. So while they were good, it looks like they were a little bit undisciplined. For context, the Dallas Cowboys committed 104 penalties. So they committed 14 more penalties than even the Dallas Cowboys did. And we all felt the Dallas Cowboys were undisciplined last year. So that's something to keep an eye out for, though. All right, so let's continue, man. All right, team advanced defense. Oh, shit, here it go. Blitz percentage and everything else. Look at God. See, if you continue to look, you'll find what you're looking for, man. You'll find what you're looking for. So, hey, the Browns didn't blitz that much at all. Like, the Browns blitzed less than the Dallas Cowboys did. And we know the Dallas Cowboys were not a high blitzing team. Dallas Cowboys blitzed 28.5% of the time last year. The Cleveland Browns blitzed 27.7% of the time. So look like the Browns primarily rush 4. Because remember, in NFL terms, a blitz is any pass rush that includes 5 people. A 5-man pass rush in the National Football League is a blitz. So if you send 4 and you drop 7, that's a standard pass rush. If you send any amount of extra people over those standard 4, it's considered a blitz. So they look like they primarily rush 4. Look like they primarily rush 4 out there, man. But this the thing. Just because they don't blitz does not mean they don't create pressure. Even without blitzing, the Browns were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Browns were 8th in pressure percentage last year. So despite only blitzing 27% of the time, they still were the 8th best team in generating pressure last year. Jesse Harvey, what's up with you, man? Thank you for tapping in and showing love. Salute to you. So they're not a high blitzing team. Look like that one game that dude jotted down was an anomaly. They're not a high blitzing team, but they do create pressure at a high rate. And if you can create pressure with a 4-man front and drop 7 in coverage, it's hard to beat you, man. For many a years, that's what the Giants did. When the Giants were a very good team, when they made it to those Super Bowls, they had a great front 4. They dropped 7. They got home. So I don't know, man. That's a daunting task. That's a very daunting task. Because Dak Prescott is great against the blitz. If you go look at his advanced numbers against the blitz, they're great across the board. But if you don't have to blitz anybody, right? If you could continue to drop extra people in coverage and you could generate pressure and hits and sacks with just those 4 guys down on the line of scrimmage, it's a long day for any quarterback. Like, it's a long day for any quarterback. So that's a daunting task right there. They're generating that kind of pressure, and they're only rushing 4. What's up with you, Compton Cowboys fans? Salute to you. Matter of fact, let me jot some of this information down so we can keep it. Not a high blitzing team. Only 27% of the time do they blitz. However, However, they still generate the eighth best pressure percentage in NFL. Oof. Yeah, I don't know that. I didn't want to hear that, honestly. Did not want to hear that. All right, let's continue, man. Let's take a look at some more of these advanced numbers. Let's take a look at some more of these advanced numbers and see what's cracking. All right, sacks. We knew they were a high sack team with Myles Garrett on there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had the sixth most sacks in the National Football League. They had 49. 3 more than the Dallas Cowboys did with Micah Parsons. So let me jot that down. For anybody that's just now coming in, if you're trying to keep track of what we talked about so far, pretty much right now we're focusing on the defense. They're a 4-3 base defense. They play with four down defensive linemen. The likes including Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Tomlinson, Shelby Harris. Those are their starting 4 on the defensive line. They rush 4 primarily. They're not a high blitzing team. However, they do have the 8th best pressure percentage in the National Football League, while also generating the 6th most sacks in the National Football League. They were the number 1 overall defense in terms of yardage. They were second in passing yards, so the second best passing defense and the 11th rate rushing defense. So that's some of the information that we compiled so far. We done dug through these numbers and did our little research up to this point. So hearing that, you should be all the way caught up with everything that we done discussed up to this point. Appreciate that, man. Glad you jumped in and rocked out with us, Jesse. I appreciate you. So this is a damn good defense, bro. It's a damn good defense. All right, sack numbers good, pressure percentage good, blitz percentage low. What about hurries? How often did they disrupt the play? Surprisingly, they don't have as many hurries as I thought. They're actually toward the bottom in terms of hurries. They only ended up having 39 hurries last year, which I guess I guess that's, you have so many sacks. How many times did how many of those other ones, were wins? Like, they had sacks, so I don't think that's really saying. Like, they had a bunch of sacks. Just because they didn't have a bunch of hurries doesn't mean it still ain't a good passing defense. What's up, Gumbo? Thanks for tapping in and rocking out with me, man. But yeah, man. So this is a damn good passing defense. All right, let's take a look at that rushing defense, man. All right, rushing yards per game. Cleveland Browns gave up 105.5. It was 11 in the National Football League. But like I said, for the season, only gave up 1793. Yards per attempt, they were 13th. So like I said, while they're not the best run defense in the world, they're not pushovers either. And this is really what I want for the Dallas Cowboys eventually. I still want to be that dominant passing defense. But man, I do want to be able to stop the run a little bit too, man. I do. I'm gonna wait now. What's up, Flip? And listen, That is partially true as well. I said, listen, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the offense very, very shortly, and what we need to do to try and neutralize what they want to do to us offensively. But man, this defense is still good on its own. I know that running the ball and being a good running football teams mean you're up in time of possession. It limits the amount of snaps your defense has to play. I'm well aware. But personnel wise, these guys could stand on their own if you needed them to. Now, luckily, right, once we pivot to talking about the offense, they will be without one of their primary offensive guys in Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is going to start the year on the pup, so it's not like he's going to go out there and run all over us. But they still got a very dynamic running back in Jerome Ford, who averaged about 4 yards a carry, had over 800 yards last year. So it's not like they're incapable of mustering up a run game without Nick Chubb. They're still very capable of doing that. Like, they're still very capable of doing that. Oh, yeah. And yes, I agree with you, Darlene. The Eagles' defense sucks. I don't think you can go from being that bad to being back a contender in just a span of a year. Like, that defense was atrocious. They still returning a lot of the same players that were on that defense. A lot of those guys are aging. So yeah, I don't see that Eagles defense being nowhere near as good as any of the other defense that we're playing. Like the Eagles defense might be a bottom tier defense this year. Folks just aren't talking about it. They're just not talking about it. But let's go ahead and pivot, man. We talked about the defense. We seen some of the numbers behind the defense. We know that they were the number 1 overall defense in terms of yards last year. We know they were the 2nd ranked passing defense, the 11th ranked rushing defense. We saw that they had the 8th highest pressure percentage. We saw that they were 6th in sacks. So let's go ahead and move along, and let's talk a little bit about the offense. Let's talk about the offense, man, because as much as I talked about how good the defense was, personnel-wise, the offense, personnel-wise, is good too. When you really just take a look at some of the skill position players that they have, like this is a damn good roster, man. Whoever is the GM over there for the Cleveland Browns, I take my hat off to him, man. I give them kudos for constructing this offense and this unit the way that they have. Because when you talk about wide receiving cores, they got Amari Cooper, they got Jared Jeudy, they got Elijah Moore, David Njoku, one of the better tight ends in the National Football League, and that offensive line is damn good as well. Is like this offensive line is very solid. Is a very solid unit. So like offensively, there's not really many holes there outside of the inconsistency of one Deshaun Watson. And listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm surprised that Deshaun Watson has struggled the way that he has struggled with the personnel that he has and the talent that he has. Like, Deshaun Watson is a super talented guy. Might be a pervert, but he is a super talented guy. So, to see him play like a mediocre quarterback for 2 years and be injured the majority of these 2 seasons, it's strange. It's off-putting. Like, there was legitimate arguments for Deshaun Watson at one point being a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. He was making Pro Bowls. He was putting up the stats. You know, he took his team to the playoffs. Like, he was doing all kinds of things you expect of a franchise quarterback when he was with the Houston Texans. Like, he put up elite numbers with the Texans. That's why they were willing to pay him the amount of money that they paid him. Fast forward 2 years, nobody talks about Deshaun Watson being a top 10 quarterback no more. It's puzzling. It's bizarre. I'm not, and I can't really point to what it is. Because even when Deshaun Watson is not hurt, he hasn't played well. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know. Because it's not like he's old. He's younger than Dak Prescott. He was drafted in 2017. I'm not even sure Deshaun Watson is 30 yet. I'm not even 1,000% sure Deshaun Watson is 30. No, Deshaun Watson is 28 years old. But the man, I don't get it. I just don't get it. The sad thing is, because everybody circles the Dallas Cowboys as a must-win game, they know it's going to be televised. They know that everybody's going to be watching. Deshaun Watson might look like the old Deshaun Watson against us, just for the hell of it. You know, that's the kind of look that Dallas Cowboys usually have. But look at these numbers, dog. In 6 games, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks, and a QBR of 42.9, which just for reference is not great at all. Not great at all. Matter of fact, I think I got a screen. I didn't upload it, so it don't matter. But I'm gonna read it to you. So this is from Nate Tice. He says QBR is just one. It's just one stat to look at for quarterbacks. But Watson QBR for his 2 years as a Brown starter of 40.4 and 42.9 were worse than either of Sam Darnold's first 2 seasons as the New York Jets starting quarterback. He's played, so what he's trying to insinuate, and what I partly agree with him, is Deshaun Watson the last 2 years in Cleveland played worse than Sam Darnold his first 2 years with the New York Jets. That's how underwhelming Deshaun Watson has been. Yes, he hasn't played. But when he has played, he ain't been good either. So I get it. Injuries. He sat out a year, so he was probably rusty coming in. But even in the games that he's played in, and they won, Deshaun Watson ain't played great. Like, they went 5-1 last year. Do these numbers look like they should have won those games? And we're just basing it off of how he performed? Like, don't get me wrong. I started this off by talking about his talent and what he used to do and how well he played in Houston. He has not played well since he's been with the Browns. They won games despite of him being lackluster. That's why they were also able to win games and get to the playoffs with like 30 different backups. Right? They were a playoff team and winning games even without Deshaun Watson. So I get it. Like, they were 5-1 with him. But he did not play good football. And, you know, I'm the person that likes to have the nuanced conversations about, yes, you won the game, but how did your level of play actually affect the outcome of the football competition? So, yes, they were able to generate a great run game. They gave the ball to Nick Chubb. They gave the ball to Jerome Ford. They even utilized some of Deshaun Watson rushing ability. Like week 1, because I went back and watched the very first game where they blew out the Bengals, right? They blew out the Bengals the first game. They had a design quarterback run for Deshaun Watson in the end zone, which is something we got to watch for, right? Because Dallas Cowboys historically have had issues, you know, against rushing quarterbacks. But still, point being, like, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And listen, even if I go back and watch the Ravens game, and I see a flash of the old Deshaun Watson, does that disprove the sample size of games that he played in Cleveland? Does the one game change the other games he's played where he wasn't good? Like, I know what he's capable of. That's why I said, like, hell, he might go out there and ball against us because the potential is there. But speaking plainly and speaking about the numbers, he ain't been great his 2 years in Cleveland. He has one of the worst QBRs in the National Football League, which pretty much judges everything. It judges your decision making. It judges your rushing ability. It judges everything QBR does, right? He's been bad. A 40 in any grading scale is an F. He got 2 Fs. Back-to-back season, he flunked out of this quarterback grading scale. He flunked out. So, I'm not saying he's a scrub. I'm just saying Deshaun Watson, who's an uber-talented quarterback, has not been playing like that up to this point. At least with the Browns. At least not consistently. You might see a spark here and spark there. But he does not consistently do that anymore. And maybe it's the injuries. Right? Maybe the injuries. Maybe it's the time away from the game. Right? Maybe it's the play calling. Right? Who knows? But I'm just saying, consistently, Deshaun Watson has not played up to his talent level. And the QBR sort of proves that. It grades every snap. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Matter of fact, let's go back to the stats, right? And let's look at these last 2 years. So his first year, like I said, he only played 12 games. First year, 58.2 completion percentage, which is below league average, 1,102 yards, 7 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. QBR was a 40. Passer rating, which is pretty much just judging what you do as a passer, it was a 79.1, which is probably one of the worst in the National Football League that year. When you talk about last year, passer rating was an 84. QBR was a 42. Right? So, I'm not saying that he's the worst quarterback in the league. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's had a rough go of it. He's had a rough go. And hopefully, and this is the thing that hopefully works out in the Dallas Cowboys' favor. Because Mike Zimmer's defense utilizes a lot of disguises, they simulate pressure. You don't know who really coming, who really falling back into coverage. Hopefully you can force Deshaun Watson. Right? Hopefully you can force Deshaun Watson into some turnovers, some bad decisions. Right? Hopefully you can generate some pressures, knock him down a little. Those are things you got to hope for in terms, because I'll be honest with y'all. I'm going to put my face on the screen for this. You're not going to line up for 60 minutes and stop the Cleveland Browns wide receivers. They're going to win. Jerry Jeudy is a very good route runner. Amari Cooper is probably the best route runner in the National Football League. You can make an argument for a couple other guys. And Elijah Moore is a very explosive slot guy. Right? They got talent across the board. Hell, their damn tight end can stretch the field. So they got great pass catchers and vertical threats all along that offense. So guarding them man-to-man from start to finish is probably not going to work. they'll probably win. But a quarterback cannot complete a pass on his ass. So if you can hit Deshaun Watson, if you can sack him, if you can disrupt his timing, if you can force him into some inopportune turnovers, that's probably going to be your best bet in neutralizing that passing attack of the Cleveland Browns. He's only played 12 games since he's been there. He played 6 last year and he played 6 the year before. So he's played 12 games in total for the Cleveland Browns. And most of them weren't good. So that's pretty much the truth, right? And that's easier said than done too, right? Because it's not like their offensive line or some pushovers. So we'll see. So listen. I think this is a good challenge for both sides of the ball week 1. I think it's a good challenge for both sides of the ball week 1. Because even though that you're going to be without Nick Chubb, the Cleveland Browns still ran the ball a lot even when Nick Chubb went down. Right? They still ran the ball a ton even when Nick Chubb was not on the field. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all exactly how many times they ran the damn football. So last year, the Cleveland Browns, I know they had over 500 rushing attempts. Yep. Cleveland Browns ran the ball 518 times last year, which was the 4th most in the National Football League. That's more than the 49ers. That's more than the Lions. That's more than the Eagles. That's more than the Bills. Right? When you think about rushing football teams, like all those guys you think run the ball a lot, they ran the ball more than they did. 49ers, Lions, Eagles, Bills. The only 3 teams that ran the ball more were the Ravens, the Bears, and the Falcons. That's it. He said, you're very nervous. I mean, it's okay to be nervous, man. It's the first game of the season. We ain't seen Dallas Cowboys football since the playoff debacle. So people are up in arms. People are concerned. You know, people are waiting on bated breath to see the outcome of this football game. I get that. I understand that wholeheartedly and completely. But, man, at the end of the day, you just got to line it up and see who the better team is. You know what I'm saying? You just got to line it up and see. And one thing I will say about this year's schedule, because you play great teams, right? You play the Browns, the Steelers, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Lions. You even get a chance to play like teams that made the playoffs last year, like Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you know the Eagles. You know, always play us tough and all the other stuff, right? You will know well before the season is over if the Dallas Cowboys are actually playoff contenders, if they're actually Super Bowl contenders and all that stuff. There are not a lot of easy W's on this year's schedule. It's just not. Even the teams that we thought we will just beat the brakes off of, those are question marks. There's no guarantee that the Falcons will be a bad team this year with Kirk Cousins and the players that they added. There's no guarantee that they'll be bad, right? So we'll just have to see how it falls out for us, man. But you will know for a fact. You will know for a fact if your team is legit or not before the season is over. So I love it, man. Iron sharpens iron. If you want to get to where you want to go, you gotta beat these teams in your path. So hey, if we gotta play the top defenses in the regular season, that only more prepares us to play the top defenses in the postseason. If you gotta play the best running backs in the regular season, that better prepares you to play the better running backs in the postseason. You gotta play the best quarterbacks in the regular season. Shit, you ain't got nothing to fear when you go to the playoffs, right? I think it's going to be America game of the week because it's like a 3:25 kickoff time. So I think it's going to be America game of the week, so it'll be nationally televised. But let's continue though, man. Okay, 4:15 your time, 3:15 my time. Cool. So yeah, it might be America's game of the week because it is the Dallas Cowboys. It is going to be week 1. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to nationally televise that game. And I'm ready. Speaking of the offense, because I really just talked about the Deshaun Watson the entire time. Let's actually go into a deep dive of the offense and look at some of those numbers. So let's chop it up. So let's get back to talking about offense. Right, so you know that they had the 4th most rushing attempts in the National Football League. Rushing yardage. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm on the right thing. Okay, yeah, it's offense. So rushing offense, they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they were the 12th best rushing offense in the National Football League. They accumulated 2,017 yards on the season while rushing for 15 rushing touchdowns. They had 9 runs of 20-plus yards and 3 runs of 40-plus yards with a long of 69. So they generated some explosive plays in the ground game. Matter of fact, I don't like that they keep popping up minimized. Let me put that up like that. Exactly. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, man. So like here, I can't worry about tough matchups. Are we a Super Bowl caliber team or are we not? Because Super Bowl caliber teams win these games. They find a way to gut it out and get it done. So if we're not Super Bowl caliber, I want to know early on so I can just go ahead and temper my expectations when the playoffs do roll around. Right? So, it is what it is. But yeah, man. So, fourth most rushing attempts, 12th most rushing yards. Now, listen. I take those numbers with a grain of salt. Because while their rushing efficiency was not the best, they did not have Nick Chubb for a majority of those games. I know he won't be in this game either, but they probably have a better game plan knowing that Nick Chubb was going to be out going into the season, knowing, that these other guys will have to play a much larger role. They'll probably have a much better plan of attack in their rushing game, week 1 than they did middle of the season losing your world running back. You know what I mean? So take that with a grain of salt. And I'm the stat guy, but you can't always just take stuff at face value like that. Context does matter. Context does matter because there are variables in there that alter the outcome. Right? Variable being is not the same running back that was taking the carries, right? That's very important when you're out here talking about numbers. That's very important. So yeah. All right, now let's take a look at the passing numbers. Because remember, they played a bunch of different quarterbacks. So it's not like you can even gauge a lot of stuff from this either. It's not like you can gauge a lot of stuff from this either. So we'll just talk about how they did. So passing attempts. Damn. So somehow the Browns threw the ball more than the Dallas Cowboys did last year. It's crazy, but it's true. The Dallas Cowboys threw the ball 614 times. The Browns threw the ball 624 times. And they weren't great at throwing the ball either from completion percentage. The Browns as a team only completed 56.9% of their passes. They only had 24 passing touchdowns to go along with 23 interceptions that were thrown by their offense. Cowboys, on the other hand, 36 passing touchdowns and 10 interceptions, with Cooper Rush throwing one of those. So, hey. So this is one thing I will say, regardless of who the quarterback is. If the Dallas Cowboys can stop the run and force the Browns to be one-dimensional and pass the football, I feel a lot better about my chances of beating them. But if they allow the run game to take off, I'm not just talking about the running backs. If they allow Deshaun Watson to get 50 yards on the ground to help stimulate that rushing attack, if they allow the running back to get off and break explosive plays and get into our secondary and wreak havoc, it's going to be a long day, man. But their efficiency passing the football, even with Deshaun Watson in the game, has not been great according to these numbers. Has not been great. Because we saw Deshaun Watson did not even complete 62% of his passes. Right? He ain't even complete 62% of his passes. So if you can make them one-dimensional, if you can get them into obvious passing situations, if you can get to the quarterback, you can win this football game. Because no matter how stout a defense is, if they got to play 40 of the 60 minutes, there will be cracks in the armor, right? You can only stay fresh and fly around and be disrupted for so long. Like, this is not a video game. In Madden, you can turn fatigue off, and guys can run the length of the field for the full 4 quarters, never come out, never sub out, don't take a sip of Gatorade, none of that. But in real life, 270-pound men, running as fast as they can on a play-to-play basis, they're gonna tire out. They're gonna tire out. So if your offense can stay on the field and you can keep their offense off the field, you tilt your advantage. You tilt the advantage to your favor. Right? Because listen, I'm not speaking on the Browns if there's some unbeatable juggernaut. There's paths to victory. Sometimes not as obvious as others, but there's usually a path to victory with a team like this. There's usually a path to victory with a team like this. Yeah, I said the same thing, here, Neil. We got a defense that can stop the run. We improved our defensive tackles. Listen. I'm just saying this. The Dallas Cowboys should be able to stop what is basically a backup running back. Right? They should be able to stop a backup running back. That's all I'm saying. Because that's basically what Jerome Ford is. He's a good backup running back. He's an explosive backup running back. But he's still a backup running back, y'all. If your defense has taken the step in the right direction, you should be able to slow him down. Not complete. Like, listen, I'm not saying you're holding 0 yards, but you should be able to neutralize him for the most part. Because you're going to play way better running backs. If you can't stop Jerome Ford, how can I expect you to stop Saquon Barkley? How can I expect you to stop Derrick Henry? How can I expect you to stop Bijan Robinson? How can I expect you to stop CMC? How can I expect you to stop these other marquee running backs if you can't stop Jerome Ford week 1? No excuses. If you can't do that, then I don't know what to tell you. So, Captain, are you a Browns fan? Did y'all switch offensive coordinators, or? Cause you seem very sure that they won't run out a lot of the stuff they did before. So did they change offensive coordinators, or did they just publicly say, "Hey, we're gonna try and make Deshaun Watson more comfortable and play to his strengths"? What's going on in Brown country? Let me know from the outside looking in. What's going on in Browns country? Hold on, man. Is Jerome Ford your nephew, Kelvin? Salute to you too, man. Good to see you in the liquor store, man. And hey, anybody, just make sure y'all hit those like buttons. Please make sure y'all hit those share buttons. Please make sure y'all hit that Cash App or that Super Chat. Help keep the lights on in the liquor store. And man, please slap the shit out of an Eagles fan for your boy, man. If you can't do nothing else, you can lay hands on the Eagles fan, man. Y'all know y'all doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing. Oh, they're trying to get rid of Watson. Okay. Okay, cool. So who's y'all? Matter of fact, let me just Google it. Information is free nowadays, so let me just Google it. All right, so Cleveland Brown, new offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey. So Ken Dorsey is now the new offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. Okay, so let's take a look. Thank you for that bit of information. Let me jump into Ken Dorsey then and see what he did in the National Football League. Oh, okay. So Ken Dorsey, last stop was in Buffalo. He was the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. Okay. So let me see. So Ken Dorsey with with the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. They had a very good outing against us last year. I see. Okay. So y'all changed all the coaches outside of the head coach then. Let me see. What kind of offense does Ken Dorsey run? What's up, Sleazy? They been tapping in, man. Salute to you. Appreciate you for stopping into the liquor store, man. Marcus McFarland, I see you. Salute to all y'all good people. Oh, yeah, let me see what Ken Dorsey. System. All right, so Sports Illustrated. This is a Sports Illustrated article about what to expect from a Ken Dorsey offense for the Cleveland Browns. Dorsey and Stefanski do similar things, but also showcase some notable differences in their offensive strategies. In the latest episode of Brownie Breakdowns, Anthony Moglen and Spencer German studied the tape from Dorsey's time in Buffalo and the weaknesses of his offensive philosophies. All right, some of the more noticeable elements include Dorsey's propensity to push the ball downfield in the passing game and a pretty effective shotgun RPO game, which could be very useful in unlocking Watson as a running threat. Conversely, there were some noticeable discrepancies in Dorsey's run game with the Bills, and questions remain about his ability to make weapons that aren't the team's number one wide receiver more of a focal point. Okay. So RPO style offense for the Cleveland Browns in 2024. Yeah, and the weather helped dictate that. Yeah, I think the weather helped dictate that too. So we'll see, man. So, hey, new offense, but we'll see. Still got the same personnel. So we'll see how that works out. I'm curious to see how that works out too, though. Oh yeah, they try to blame him. Now listen, Josh Allen did play better once they took the ball out of his hands and they fed James Cook. You know, I'm just saying. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about, man. I ain't talking crazy and sleazy. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah. So let's get back to these numbers, man. Back, y'all. I think my Wi-Fi. We've been having outages the past 2 days in my area. So you know, it been doing that shit. It pissing me off. I don't feel like calling cussing them people out, but you know, if it keep tripping, I might have to do so. Might have to do so. But yeah, man, there's really more we can go into, man. But I think I'm gonna say some of that. You know, I think I'm gonna say some of that to cook up because I did a little bit of leg work. There's still plenty of stuff to break down, like how Deshaun Watson performed under pressure, uh, what concepts he excelled at last year. You know, like his numbers off play action, numbers off RPO, number off standard drop back. You know, we can also figure out the pass blocking and run blocking win percentage of the offensive line, pass rush and run stopping win percentage of the defensive line. We'll get to that in a different episode. It's been an hour and 18. I think it's been some pretty damn good content. I think we found out some good stuff about the Browns. I know there's more to learn. We got plenty of time though. I don't want to give y'all everything and then you know right this moment and then we not remember the key talking points. Oh, he's talking about the point per game. I think they only allowed 13 points per game at home, if I'm not mistaken, just off the top of my head. But yeah, let's show those splits before we get out of here, Matt Paul. Let's show those splits because I think like they had the best home defense in the National Football League. Could be mistaken. But I think they shut pretty much everybody down at home. But let's go out here and take a look though, man. Let me pull that up. NFL scoring defense 2023. Yep, Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns had the best home defense in the National Football League. They only allowed 13.9 points a game at home. Only allowed 13.9 points a game at home. Ooh. Then away. Hold on. That's crazy. On the road, they were the worst defense in the National Football League on the road. So on the road, the Cleveland Browns defense allowed 31 points per game. At home, their defense allowed 13.9 points per game. That shit is crazy. Matt, appreciate you for bringing that to my attention before we got out of here, man. That's some crazy shit. There was some crazy splits. So yeah, at least unfortunately for us, the game is in Cleveland, so they shut shit down in Cleveland. So let's hope, let's hope that we can handle up. So yeah, man, we're gonna wrap it up for now. We'll come back a different day. Probably sometime tomorrow, man. I'm trying to get with Boss or Wes and Land now so we can make some more joint content about these Cleveland Browns, man. So we're gonna continue to compile these numbers, statistics, see if we can use them to our advantage to get over the hump in this season opener. But I appreciate y'all for everything, man. So hey, on the way out, please make sure y'all hit that like button. Please make sure y'all hit that share button. Please make sure y'all slap the shit out of an Eagles fan on the way out. And please make sure y'all hit that Cash App or that Super Chat to support the boy Henny, man. But hey, in the words of my brother, West Coast Cowboy, never look down because the star is up. Peace.
Thinking about changing locations and shit. Man, into this motherfucking bag. Stand on the way I made. Sacrificing time for this shit. Man, I got a plan. Tried to tell niggas years ago. They ain't understand. Riding by myself in this coupe. I'm all in my head. Everything in life you can't replace. I build relationships. Pretty little smile make a nigga wanna lock it in. We met the same time I lost a friend. We should try again. You should hop